Hi, it's Sarah with Planner Junkies and Hound Dog Boutique. So I wanted to take a moment to kind of explain what's going on this channel. I took a bit of a break. I guess it's been about 6 weeks since I posted a video. And I was posting mostly planner things, which just never really took off. Like, I have an Etsy shop, I was making stickers, I was posting videos, and it's doing okay, but it's not kind of like taking off. So in March, and I kind of I still plan. Don't get me wrong. That's why Planner Junkies is still on here. I still plan. I still have multiple Hobonichi planners. I still plan. And I will come back to some of those in between some of these other videos. But in March, I decided that I wanted to really start a physical business, a physical product business. A store opened up near me called Painted Tree Boutiques. And if you haven't heard of those, or they don't have them near you, we have about 16 of these stores in Texas. There's one here near me and one in South Austin. And then, there's like 6 in Houston, 6 in Dallas, and, a couple smattered throughout Texas. But Painted Tree Boutiques is a store that has booths, like vendor booths. So you can rent a booth and you can put your products in it to sell. I wasn't sure that I could totally fill a booth, a 6x9 booth with stickers, with planner stickers. So I decided that I wanted to, I started thinking about what I wanted to do, and really, it was March, right? So I planned by quarters. Q1 was pretty much almost done. And so Q2, Q3, I decided that by Q3, I wanted to have a booth in the Painted Tree Boutique. Little did I know the local Painted Tree would take off and there would be no booths left. Also, Painted Tree, if you're interested in Painted Tree, or if you're interested in having your own booth, look up Painted Tree Boutiques online, and they tend to go in 1-year contracts. You have a 1-year contract. So the store opening here in March meant that there weren't any, there were like 2 left when I kind of decided, and then by April, May, when I was ready to kind of get a booth, there wasn't anything left. But the one in South Austin had opened last March. Actually, the one here in Round Rock opened in December. So by March, they had kind of filled up. The one in South Austin had opened last March. So people's 1-year contracts were falling off. So it was a good time to find a booth in South Austin. Although it's 45 minutes away and I don't know anybody down there, right? So sending people to the store is difficult. But if you're in South Austin on Brody Lane, I do have a booth, B37. So I decided, okay, right? It's a kind of a fun business model. One of my friends, Smitten Designs, has this business model where she is in these stores. I contacted her, and she is in all 16 Painted Trees, and I was like, oh, this is this is a viable business model. And she says that she is making back her booth fee, kind of, if you look like year wise, not like month to month or week to week, but if you look like over the year, she's making back her booth fees at a pretty decent amount. So I thought, okay, well, I can start in South Austin then and just kind of figure out what I'm gonna do. And then by the end of the year, hopefully in December, when the local store here has been open a year, people will, their contracts will be up and I'll be able to get a booth up here. So that would put me at 2 booths by the end of this year. So that is my goal. My goal for the booth was really not until Q3, July. So I'm a little bit ahead of things, a whole quarter. So in March, I started being like, okay, what could I put in the booth? Planner stickers aren't gonna fill that up. Oops, Sunny's moving around. The dogs love to be upstairs with me, so I just was like, okay, let them be. So this is Sunny and Birdie, and George is next to me. But anyway, so I decided to start sewing and making bracelets and fun things, but that are dog themed, hence the Hound Dog Boutique. I had tried to do a dog bakery last summer, but in Texas, they really are very strict about dog food, and you have to like submit each of your recipes. If you change one thing, you got to submit it again, and there's a whole like, you know, $75 charge for each of those recipes, and it's way harder than like human food. I was like, and my daughter wanted to help in the Round Rock farmers market. Like, I looked that up. It said they wanted like 48 Saturdays, and I was like, there's no way I can be and do like a booth, a market every single weekend. I have 3 kids and dogs, and I volunteer, and so the dog food bakery didn't work out. So then I was like, well, I could make things that are for dog owners, right? Like, dog owners love their dogs. They want anything, you know, I'm going to buy anything that has a beagle on it. These 2 aren't beagles. This one is a beagle though. And I work with Hound Rescue. So if you, and I have a foster dog right now, if you need a foster, or if you need a new beagle. But I decided that dog bracelets that say dog mom or cat mom. I do have a couple of cat things, not too many. Because people keep asking, where's the cat stuff? I don't have cats, I just have dogs. Dog mom, I love dogs. I got an embroidery machine. I make keychains that say, you know, I love my Schnauzer, I love my Beagle, I love my Pitty, I love my Pomeranian. Like, so I have almost everything is dog themed. I have kind of branched out a little bit recently with bracelets and keychains that are seasonal. But I have seasonal stuff. And then I have dog specific stuff. So so that kind of helps you if like I niched down enough that it helps weed out some of the, like, you can make anything, right? But mine is just dog themed. Like, and there's a ton of stuff with dogs, but like, you know, you're like, I can make any kind of t-shirt. I can make there's sublimation. You could do anything, but I'm going to be mostly just dog themed. And so that helps me kind of, when I'm looking for things to make, or, that helps me figure things out. It does make it a little bit harder though, like Joann's is closing. So a couple of months ago in March, I went to Joann's and I bought like all the dog themed fabric. And when I went back like 3 weeks later, there was none. So no dog themed fabric. So finding things has been a little bit difficult. Also helpful, but difficult. So am I rambling? I am rambling, but whatever. You'll get to know me and you'll ramble with me. So this video is going to be a monthly series that I do that talks about how my painted tree and how that business, the Hound Dog Boutique business, is doing, and just kind of a video review of how that is going. So Painted Tree booth is a fee. I did not make back that fee at Painted Tree. I think if you count April and May, which I paid for Painted Tree, my booth, starting in May. I started sewing in March. I started making products to put in the booth. I still don't have like tons and tons. You know, I still am slowly getting the booth done. And if you, I have Facebook, not super active on Facebook, TikTok. I have a TikTok where I post about my dogs. And Instagram doesn't work for me either. That's why I was like, okay, I'm going to stick with YouTube, and maybe I'll just post a picture of the booth. I don't think I've posted a picture of the booth here on YouTube, so I will do that. Just to show you what I'm putting in my booth. My friend was like, I'm getting a divorce. I've got this like bookshelf and this table if you need it. And I was like, yes, great. Like, so she helped me put this in my booth. I got some like paw roommates like those stickers off Amazon that go on the wall. And so the booth, I have like just paw stickers, and I got some shears and like a retractable curtain rod, and I hung up a curtain rod. And so I've been slowly kind of building up inventory to put in that shop. Then I also discovered that my neighborhood, so if you want to do vendor events, so I am doing online. I have a Shopify at Hound Dog Boutique. I have the painted tree boutique, so I have a permanent booth. And then I have started also doing vendor events. So the Hound Dog Boutique has these kind of 3 layers of revenue. Between the 2 months that I've kind of been selling, I started kind of posting things on Facebook in April. I did make my booth fee, I think. But that took me 2 months to make my booth fee. But still, like right off the bat, this seemed to be fairly, like you throw spaghetti at the wall and it started to stick. And so that is what I've been working on. So I got some things in the booth, and then I had a, 2 Saturdays ago, my neighborhood had a vendor event. And so I was like, okay, it's free. So I just have to figure out how to set up my booth, figure out how to set up the tent, figure out where I want the tables. And, I have a tiered thing where I'm hanging the keychains and the bracelets and the dog bandanas and the scrunchies. And like I'm hanging all of that stuff. It kept blowing over in the wind. So I will not probably take the tier to the next vendor event in June. But my neighborhood has this vendor event every month that's free. Only 4 people showed up. Literally 4 people showed up. One of them was my friend who bought a bunch of stuff. And then one of them was a neighbor who felt sorry for everybody there. And he pity bought something from, he didn't have a dog. He pity bought something from everybody's booth, which was very kind. So the vendor event in the neighborhood, I'm going to say, was not a success, except that it was a great lesson in, how do I put that up? It was not very windy. I had a whole discussion with my husband about like, I need concrete blocks for this tent so that it doesn't blow away. It's not going to be that windy, he says, so he doesn't get the concrete blocks. I should have done it. Wind gusts come up. Dog bandanas are rectangular, and those suckers fly. Kept flying across the parking lot. The lady across the way was sourdough. Her booth went back, her tent went backwards and kind of like almost broke, and her bread went all over the place, and she was really angry. I was laying on the table at one point trying to like keep the bandanas from blowing away. So I did learn something. It wasn't for naught. And then I met this lady that helped me. She let me like tie my tent to her tent. And I haven't done vendor booths. I had a business selling educational games about 12 years ago, and I loved doing vendor events. Most of them were indoors though. I didn't do a lot outdoors. But I did have this tent, which has a few holes in it from 12 years ago. But my favorite part of the vendor events is the other vendors. You get to meet these other vendors. You make friends with these other vendors. They're really your best. Usually, like, they help sell your stuff. They are your best kind of customers sometimes. Like, the vendors and the other people, or like the lady that I said was Smitten Designs, who I've been talking to about, what's your business doing? I met her 12 years ago at a vendor event. We got shoved in a model home up into an upstairs room, and it was just the 2 of us, and nobody figured out we were up there. So we just kind of chatted, and we're still friends, 12 or 13 years later. But, so doing vendor events, I think, is beneficial. Also, it's kind of marketing. I don't have signs. I don't have a sign for my painted tree. I don't have a banner for my tent. So I do need to work on those things. And I did find some tables, like my sewing machine here is on just a table. So I just kind of like took the table down with me for that one event and brought it back. So making it work, figuring out what works. If you're interested in starting a business like this, where it's kind of a handmade product. So let's go back. I'm sewing things. And so I'm sewing, I'm embroidering, I'm using beads, I'm using paracord, which I have paracord bracelets, and I'm going to be making collars. George actually has a collar on right now that I'm doing dog collars. So thinking about like what my target market is, like dog moms, right? And what they would want. Mommy and me bracelet and a collar. Mommy, I have scrunchies that match dog bandanas, kind of just fun things like that. So yeah, I've talked about painted tree. I haven't done a ton, but I have sold some things down there this month. My website hasn't done too much this. I thought I would do more. I had nurse fabric that I made gift card wallets out of, teacher fabric that I made gift card wallets out, graduation fabric that I made gift card wallets out, or like bags. None of that sold. None of that sold. So I'll bring it back out probably in the fall when school starts, and see how that goes. But none of that sold. Part of this, right, like this handmade business is a lot of it's marketing, and a lot of it's marketing. And I'm really kind of in the still, I want to make stuff. So I'm struggling with directionality also. Like I worked so hard to fill the store, and then I worked so hard to be ready for a vendor event, and I have, 40 scrunchies and bandana headbands and keychains. I don't know, oh my god, probably 40 keychains. Like I have all of this stuff now, so on a day-to-day basis I really don't need to be making stuff. I need to be selling what I'm making so that I can work to replenish it. So that's a kind of a switch, like after what's it been, March, April, May, so 2.5 months now. I need to switch gears a little bit from making to marketing, and that's what the vendor events I feel are gonna help me. So again, I signed up. My neighborhood has a vendor event once a month. And then that same weekend, the next day, there's a Juneteenth celebration in kind of the little town here. So I'm going to do a vendor event there. I think the booth fee for that one was like $50. So I'm just trying to do like small little local things. And then the painted tree, I'm still hoping that can work. In the fall, I would be able to have enough sales that I could open a second vendor booth locally in the fall. And then, there's one in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, that they're not that far of a drive that I couldn't like take a day, go up there, restock things. So this is my hope, is to do the painted tree, to do the online sales. I haven't done Etsy. My stickers were on Etsy. I sold none. I sold a few digital things, but no physical stickers. So I'm letting all of that kind of run out, and I'm trying to decide if I want to put some of the Hound Dog Boutique stuff on Etsy. But right now, I'm trying not to overwhelm myself and do too much, because that can lead to burnout. Right? If you are everywhere at once, then you're going to burn out. And so I'm trying to be like, okay, do I really want to do this? Like Etsy will market for you, right? But like I've literally had Etsy stores all of these years, and that I've made like 20 sales. Like it's not that much. So I'm not sure that Etsy right now is the right thing to do. So I'm doing just those three things: vendors, Shopify, and painted tree. The number one, I also wanted to share with you guys, the number one thing, product that sold this month is this. It is it's a lip balm holder. Okay, and I got some lip balm off Amazon and put stickers. Etsy does have like Canva stickers, Canva templates that you can put your business name on, and it ups the perceived value of a product if it comes with chapstick, right? So lip balm. It attaches to your bag, so you always have it. It's Texas, right? We're in 100 degrees coming up, and you can't leave your lip balm in the car anymore. That only lasts like a couple of months around here, so you've got to have some place to put it, and it goes straight to the bottom of your purse, and you can't find it. So, or my kids take it. One of them took it the other day. So this was my number one thing. Super easy. Look on YouTube for lip balm holder, right? How to sew a lip balm holder tutorial, but it's very easy. There are a number of tutorials. And if I get a chance, I'm not quite sure how to make a tutorial of me sewing yet. Like, this is a whole new thing, but I want to share the business because not only do I want to, I want to have a business, a successful business for me, but part of everything that I have done, am doing, is sharing it. I want to share that knowledge. Like, I want to be able to help people. I want to build a community of people that are trying to build their own businesses. But the number one thing right now that has been the number one seller is the lip balm holder, which is pretty easy to make, quite honestly. If you can sew a straight line, you can sew that. So that's what sold in May. I will try to keep you updated on how things go. Hopefully they go better in June, because June, I need to work on signs. That would be my number one priority, working on signs. I have 2 vendor fairs, and, just kind of continuing to build my stock. Really, there's not tons of sales that happen in the summer because people are traveling and there's not like a major holiday other than 4th of July. I do have some cute 4th of July things that I'm kind of working on. But I'm really kind of starting to think about and starting to buy beads and, things for back to school, fall, Halloween, so that I can have enough product, right? I'm working through the summer to make those things so that I have enough product in the winter to really bulk up on those fall craft fairs that there's, 15 a weekend, and they're so fun. So I want to be able to participate in those. So I'm starting to build my inventory for that now. So, and I'm trying to right? Like, when you have a business like this, when you're on Etsy or online, in person, you have to be kind of current, right? But Etsy and online, you really need to be 3 months ahead. So it's the end of May, June, July, August, right? Back to school, fall. So I need to start thinking about those things. So if you are starting a handmade business, I'd love to hear what you're working on, and I'd love to support you and have just chats and talk about what we're all doing. Sunny and Birdie aren't a lot of help. There's 2 other dogs here too. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I am happy to talk about how I'm building my business. Like, again, this is the very beginning of things. I'm at the very beginning of this handmade business. I am not blogging. I'm kind of vlogging. Like, this is a vlog that I'm gonna do kind of once a month and talk about what's gone on. But and then, I might do some other things. If you want to know how to make that, I can try to do a sewing tutorial. It's not a lot of sewing, it's a lot of folding. It's a folding craft kind of thing. But anyway, I hope that you have a great day. I hope that your business is going well, or that you are inspired to kind of start a business and go along with me, because I would love to have friends to do this with. So once again, I'm Sarah, and it's nice to meet you, and we will see you soon.